Hi everybody, this is Emily from the NetZoom team, here to show you how to get started with NetZoom's automatic discovery and monitoring tools. Network discovery is an optional feature in NetZoom. However, in order to perform device monitoring and calculate capacity metrics, the devices must first be discovered. Discovered devices are required for retrieving information directly from the BIOS, determining ghost machines, real-time monitoring, device health, and many other capacity metrics in NetZoom. NetZoom takes real-time data for power and thermal monitoring to create these capacity metrics. Intel DCM is recommended and integrated with NetZoom for real-time monitoring. However, other sources of monitoring can also be integrated. Please be aware, discovery and monitoring features will not be available in NetZoom's software as a service deployment. In this video, we're going to go over creating discovery profiles for your network, as well as looking at some of NetZoom's monitoring tools. First, let's log into NetZoom. Enter your NetZoom application server URL in the web browser. Then enter your username and password. Before we jump into NetZoom's features, let's briefly talk about preparing your network for discovery. This preparation involves setting your network and its devices so that the devices can be discovered and the required information can be collected. This is done the same way regardless of the discovery or monitoring method you or your client chooses. In order to successfully accomplish discovery scanning, a series of steps should be reviewed. It is also recommended that the person setting up the scan be familiar with the network topology and configuration basics regarding address space, subnet, routers, firewall, ports, SNMP, WMI, etc. NetZoom products are capable of scans based on a single IP, a range of IPs, a network subnet range, DNS query-based discovery, and Active Directory queries. For more information on preparing your network for discovery, see the Discovery and Monitoring section of NetZoom's user manual. In the meantime, let's talk about getting discovery set up using NetZoom's features. Since we're using Intel DCM to discover our devices, we need to make sure our Intel DCM instance is properly configured. Navigate to the Intel DCM feature, found under the Third-Party Integration tab in the Administration menu. This feature will allow us to configure our Intel DCM instance in NetZoom. As you can see, the Intel DCM instance is already configured here. To add your own instance, click the plus icon at the bottom of the Instances pane. Enter a name for your instance, and then enter the Intel DCM management URL and the listener URL. The monitoring frequency determines how often in minutes monitoring is updated, and the rediscovery frequency determines how often in days devices are rediscovered. In the Apply to Sites pane, check the sites that will be utilizing this instance. Click the Save button when finished. Your Intel DCM instance will be added to the pane on the right. You can test the instance by clicking the Test button, and if your connection was successful, you can click the Enable button to enable your instance. Considering we've already got our instance set up here, we're going to leave this disabled for now. Next up, we have to create an in-band or out-band discovery protocol. This can be done using the in-band profile or out-band profile features under the Discovery and Monitorings tab. We'll use an out-band protocol as our example. As you can see, this feature lists discovery profiles in the left pane and details on the selected profile in the right. To create a new discovery profile, click the plus icon at the bottom of the Discovery Profiles pane. Enter a name for your profile, and then select the discovery method or methods you will use. Each individual protocol method requires its own configuration and credentials. Please see NetZoom's user manual for more in-depth information on each of these credentials. When you're finished, click the Save button to save your discovery profile. Now that we have a discovery profile, we need to create a network profile. Navigate to the Networks feature. As you can see, a list of network profiles will appear in the Networks pane. If we expand a network, we can see all the IPs that have been discovered within that network. If we select a network, we can see the details on the selected network. To create a network profile, click the plus icon. Fill in a name for your network, and then select in-band or out-band from the network type. Using the Discovery Profile field, select the discovery profile you want to use. Since we know that our IPMI discovery profile has some IP addresses that can be discovered, we'll use that one. Enter the starting and ending IP addresses in the start and end IP fields. Click the Save button when finished. If there are IP addresses that fall in the scan range but should not be scanned, you can press this plus icon and add these IP addresses to the excluded IP field. Be sure to click the Save button to save that IP to the excluded list. Click the Enable button to enable your profile. Once your profile is enabled, the Discover and Disable buttons should appear. You're now ready to discover the IP addresses within the listed network range. To discover your network profile, select it and click the Discover button. We're going to discover this one since it only has 2 IP addresses and it'll go relatively fast. A running log of discovery will be displayed as your discovery runs. When the discovery is complete, you can choose to download the entire log by clicking this button. Click the OK and your discovery will conclude. After you've discovered your devices, the Networks pane will list each IP address node for the selected network. A green server icon means that the IP address was found in the Infrastructure Explorer, while a red server icon means that the IP address is not matched in the Explorer. Then we have the green or red blocks next to them. The green or red block next to them tells you if the machine is listed as on or off, with green meaning on and red meaning off. From here, you can use the filter to identify ghost servers, as well as addresses of physical or virtual machines that have been discovered in the network and are physically mapped in the Infrastructure Explorer. When you select a node, the Explorer quick action can be used to locate the IP address in the live site. The location quick action can view a preview of where it is installed on the data center floor. Finally, let's take a quick look at what device monitoring looks like in action. We're going to navigate to the Monitor feature in the Data Center menu. This will give us a list of monitored devices and display the data that Intel DCM has collected on them. As you can see, this list shows monitored devices along with some additional details. The tabs at the bottom will display information collected from the device, including live temperature and power readings, a log of the device, and even impact analysis. Monitoring can even be used in conjunction with alerts to automatically raise alerts when certain criteria is met. For example, if a device exceeds a certain temperature. We'll show off monitoring in more detail, as well as talk about alerts management in other videos. That covers the basics of using NetZoom's monitoring tools. But remember, discovery and monitoring are complex and powerful tools in NetZoom's utility belt, and we've only scratched the surface of what NetZoom can do. Please check out our other videos for more information on how to use the NetZoom product. And if you're interested in trying out NetZoom for your own data center, visit netzoom.com to schedule a free demo.